Old man Harrison owed the Miller family a life debt. Mrs. Miller cashed in on that debt, forcing old man Harrison to make his granddaughter, Jessica, marry me. But in 10 years of marriage, she never stopped hating my guts. She'd pull any crazy stunt just to get rid of me. I became the laughingstock of our social circle. Jessica would pat my cheek, a smirk playing on her lips. You asked for this, Liam, so suck it up. Everyone thought I'd cling to Jessica forever. She thought so too, until the one person I trusted most stabbed me in the back. That's when something in me broke. The moment I handed her the divorce papers, a wave of relief washed over me, and I actually smiled. Finally, I thought, this sham of a marriage can be over. I stepped onto the yacht. The party was already in full swing, a chaotic symphony of music and laughter. In the center of it all, Jessica, wearing a dress that was mostly backless, was draped over some guy. The sight of his back sent a shiver down my spine. Jessica was perched on his lap, all sultry poses, one slender finger tracing his neckline. Men and women raised their champagne glasses, a chorus of kiss, 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 rising and falling. Ethan Miller tilted his head back, looking like he couldn't wait. Jessica's eyes narrowed, her gaze sweeping over the crowd. A sly smile touched her lips. She casually pointed toward me. Look over there. Your best bro is watching us. Heads turned. The chatter died down, replaced by a sea of smirking faces. Someone, I don't know who, broke the silence with a drawled, well, if it isn't the devoted husband, and the others eagerly chimed in. Ethan glanced at me, his arm firmly around Jessica's waist, showing no intention of moving it. My fists clenched, my eyes locked on him. My heart felt like it was bleeding out. I never thought Ethan would betray me. He was family I'd chosen, the best, the one I trusted completely. I wanted to scream, to demand why, but not now. Not here. Ethan's eyes flicked up, a grin spreading across his face. Isn't this the scene you've been hoping for? He said to Jessica. I betrayed him, chose you. Can you love me now? The crowd stirred again, a palpable anticipation for the drama about to unfold. My marriage to Jessica was a joke. She was openly promiscuous, men cycling through her life, none lasting more than a week. Only this time, the man by her side was my most trusted friend. I ignored him, looking straight at Jessica. My face was a mask, my voice flat. The paparazzi are all over the marina, just waiting for your yacht to dock. Jessica, come with me. She tilted her head, drawing out the sound as she pretended to consider it. Nope. Seeing his chance, Ethan pulled her possessively into his arms, shooting me a defiant smirk. As we neared the dock, the long lenses of their cameras were already zeroed in, shutters clicking furiously. Flashes strobed relentlessly. My fingers curled tighter, my nails digging into my palms. They got the shot. I could already imagine the Harrison clan wouldn't let me off easy for this. Suddenly, Jessica's mocking voice was in my ear. Liam, enjoying the show? Those old vultures in the family won't let you off the hook, will they? Why don't you divorce me? I can help you then. I gritted my teeth, the words catching in my throat. Jessica, do you really want this divorce? In 10 years, this was the first time I'd ever entertained the idea. Jessica's playful smile vanished, her dark eyes suddenly complex. Before she could respond, I said it. Then let's get divorced. It felt like I'd waited a decade to say those words. The moment they were out, I was free. What wasn't mine could never truly be mine. The emotions I'd suppressed for so long finally found an escape, trickling out bit by bit. Liam, are you serious? Ethan's voice was laced with an excitement he couldn't hide. But Jessica's hand, resting on his arm, tightened, her nails digging into his flesh. Ethan hissed in pain. Ow! A flicker of surprise crossed his face. His voice dropped. Jessica, you're hurting me. Jessica ignored him, her gaze fixed on me. For the first time ever, she pushed Ethan away and walked straight to me. Let's go home, Liam. I saw the cruel glint of amusement in her eyes. She was doing this on purpose. She knew how much Ethan meant to me, and she knew that by letting the paparazzi get these shots, by stirring up this scandal, I'd be the one to face the music. To get me to agree to a divorce, Jessica really had pulled out all the stops. I took her hand without a change in my expression. Let's go. Jessica let out a laugh, dripping with sarcasm. I was used to it. I tuned it out. As the Harrison son-in-law, I had to be the perfect, polite gentleman in public, never showing a hint of displeasure. Soon, days like this would be over. The moment we were on shore, I dropped her hand. She snatched it back, her fingers lacing tightly with mine, her tone mocking. You have to commit to the role, Liam. Don't bail halfway through. The Paps are still shooting. I frowned slightly, turning my head to look out the window. Whatever. Let her have her way. We drove home in silence. The second we were inside, she was on her tiptoes, arms around my neck, her lips drawing closer to mine. In the dim, hazy light, I caught the spark of mischief in her eyes. I was exhausted, body and soul. "Jessica," I said softly, "I don't want to." With that, I pushed her away. Jessica pressed herself against me again, nipping at my collarbone, a playful punishment. She scoffed. "The Harrison's son-in-law. Those old fossils in the family actually wanting to have your kid, thinking it'll make me settle down." I stiffened. Her constant refrain of the Harrison's son-in-law was a relentless reminder of my place. Once I had willingly put on these shackles, I had no right to call a halt, only to endure it. But now, things were different. The one reason I'd compromised had betrayed me. I had nothing left to lose. For the first time, I decisively pushed Jessica away. "Jessica, I don't have to be the Harrison's son-in-law." She froze for a second, staring at me, her gaze intense. "Liam Anderson, are you serious?" My heart lurched. "I'm willing to give you what you want. Isn't that a good thing? I've clung to you for 10 years. You're tired. I'm tired. Let's just let each other go." Before the words even faded, Jessica was glaring at me. She reached out, her hand clamping around my throat, her grip tightening. I met her gaze unflinchingly. After a tense moment, she finally spoke, her voice tight with suppressed anger. "Liam, you're playing hard to get, and it's painfully obvious. I'm not falling for it." With that, she spun around furiously and stormed off without a backward glance. I was baffled. I watched her retreating figure, lost in thought. This was the outcome she'd always wanted. I was giving it to her. So why was she angry now? Bang! A door slammed. I snapped back to reality. Regardless, my mind was made up, but the thought of Ethan still sent a pang of pain through my heart. My phone buzzed again. I pulled it from my pocket, my thumb hovering over the screen. Finally, I opened the chat with Ethan, the one constantly popping up with new message notifications. "Liam, you know everything, so just give Jessica to me. You've been with her for 10 years, and she doesn't love you. Why not me try? Maybe she'll fall for me. I know it's wrong to go after a bro's girl, but I really can't help it. From the moment you introduced us, I was hooked on her. I avoided her, but you kept bringing her around. It's not like I did it on purpose. You forced my hand." The more I read, the more my heart ached. This was the person I once trusted most. A bitter laugh escaped me. "Ethan, I was so wrong about you. If you want her that badly, then fine, you can have her." I typed out the 2 sentences quickly and hit send. After that, whatever bond we had was completely shattered. He betrayed me for a woman. Ultimately, I had misjudged him. That night, I couldn't sleep a wink. When I woke up, my eyes were red and swollen. It took a long time with an ice pack for the swelling to go down. My mind was blank for a few minutes. Then I remembered the battle I had to face today and quickly grabbed my phone. I checked the trending news, and sure enough, last night's scandal was plastered all over the top. In the photos, Jessica was practically glued to Ethan, the two of them looking like they were about to kiss while I stood opposite them. The comments were a wild mix. "Liam Anderson is so generous, practically handing his wife over to his best bud." Hashtag wife sharing, you got it wrong, dude. It's the heiress playing her husband's best friend. Hashtag scandal, that Harrison girl really knows how to party. Messing with her husband's bro while hubby stands guard? Savage. LOL Jessica Harrison, a true icon of no limits. Hashtag anything goes. Does anyone feel bad for Liam? Betrayed by his wife and his best friend at the same time. That's gotta sting. Oh, Mayo, he deserves it. Jessica never wanted to marry him. If he hadn't used that old family debt to blackmail old man Harrison, do you think the princess would have married some nobody? Exactly. Clinging to the heiress with no dignity. Still not divorcing her after all this? Pathetic. Seriously? Jessica's clearly the one in the wrong. And y'all are trashing Liam? Her and that sleazy friend get a pass, but he's the bad guy? What is wrong with you people? Let me be fair. One's willing to take it, the other's willing to dish it out. We're just internet strangers, here for the drama. Grab your popcorn. The online crowd was in a frenzy. Then, in a blink, the trending topic vanished. The Harrison family's PR team had stepped in. A noise came from the entryway. Jessica was back. She glanced at me coolly. "We're due at the family estate in 30 minutes. I nodded. The inevitable was coming. Harrison family rule. Everyone back to the estate every weekend. No exceptions. Break it, and you face the consequences. Even Jessica, for all her rebelliousness, had never broken this rule. Liam Anderson, good luck." A small smile played on her lips, her tone dripping with schadenfreude. At the entrance of the Harrison estate, Jessica didn't even bother with appearances, ditching me and striding straight into the main hall. When I entered, she was already making her grandmother roar with laughter. Grandma, I greeted, observing the proper etiquette. The old woman responded non-committally. Your father-in-law and mother-in-law are waiting for you in the study. I nodded slightly. Understood. I knew exactly what was coming. And the instigator of it all, Jessica, had a smug curve to her lips, not even bothering to look up. The moment I stepped into the study, Mrs. Harrison, Jessica's mother, slapped me across the face. My head snapped to the side, and I tasted the faint metallic tang of blood. She casually blew on her hand, instantly resuming her air of a sophisticated, elegant matriarch. Mrs. Harrison looked at me coldly, her words dripping with disdain. Liam, you've disappointed me greatly. A man who can't even keep his own wife's heart. What kind of Harrison's son-in-law are you? If I'd known then what I know now, I never would have agreed to let old man Harrison marry Jessica to you. What a disaster. I kept my head down, my hands clenching unconsciously. Liam, if you still can't make Jessica fall in love with you, then you two should just get a divorce sooner rather than later. My head snapped up, my eyes filled with an unmistakable resolve. Fine, we'll get a divorce. Mrs. Harrison stared at me, her expression one of utter disbelief. Mr. Harrison, Jessica's father, also frowned slightly, asking uncertainly, Are you serious? Absolutely. My tone was firm. Mr. Harrison waved a hand, signaling for me to leave. Standing outside the study door, I could vaguely hear their conversation. Honestly, the ridiculous things Jessica does, and you blame him for it. Mr. Harrison sighed. Who else is there to blame? Before she married him, Jessica never did anything this outrageous. Mrs. Harrison complained, her voice rising. If you hadn't forced her to marry a man she didn't love, would she have become like this? You have no idea how much pain she's in. Mr. Harrison looked at her, his voice weary. You know what your daughter's like, don't you? If she truly didn't want to, who could have forced her? Now Liam wants a divorce. You just watch. This is going to be a huge mess. Mrs. Harrison paused. That can't be right, can it? If Jessica really liked Liam, why would she still act like that? Let her keep acting out. She'll push him away until she loses her husband completely. Right? How could Jessica Harrison ever like me? I turned and walked away. Down the long corridor, Jessica was waiting at the end. She stood with her arms crossed, a lit cigarette dangling from her fingers. I tried to walk past her without a word, but she grabbed my wrist, her fingers gently touching the side of my face that had been slapped. She let out a soft TSK. So that's it. Punishment a little light, don't you think? Her low voice was wrapped in a lazy amusement, her emotions unreadable. My gaze was calm, unruffled. Yes, I told your parents about the divorce. She paused, taking a sharp drag from her cigarette. What did they say? I shook my head. They didn't say much. Old man Harrison was still around. Her parents couldn't make the final call, and if I wanted a divorce, I'd have to wait for him to return. True. What right do they have to say no anyway? Her voice was flat, yet laced with a fierce undertone. You brought this on yourself. You deserve everything you get. Jessica walked away, leaving decisively, which left me to endure more of the Harrisons' thinly veiled criticisms, all disguised as lessons on marital harmony. I took it all with a quiet dignity. Waiting. After leaving the Harrison estate, I had my driver take me to the private care facility as usual. Halfway there, I got a call from the facility. Mr. Anderson, it's urgent. Mrs. Miller's condition has worsened. You need to come as soon as possible. My heart plummeted. I quickly fumbled for my phone to call Ethan. I kept trying his number all the way to the care facility, but it just rang and rang, unanswered. Finally, as I stood at her hospital room door, he picked up. Ethan, get to the care facility now. Something's happened to your mom. Ethan's voice was mocking. Liam, you were so generous, letting Jessica have a parade of men around her. Why is it different with me? And now you're cursing my mom? You think I don't know how my own mother is doing? Even if something was wrong, she's got you, right? After all, she always liked you better than me. God knows who her actual son is, considering she practically orchestrated your marriage to Jessica Harrison. Before I could say anything, he hung up. My hand clenched around my phone. I pushed open the door to her room and saw the frail, emaciated woman on the bed. My eyes instantly burned with unshed tears. What happened? Just 2 days ago, when I visited Mrs. Miller had seemed so much better. The nurse couldn't meet my eyes. I'm so sorry, Mr. Anderson. I wasn't watching closely enough. Mrs. Miller saw the news online. I froze. Liam, dear, she rasped, calling my name with difficulty. I rushed to her bedside, taking her hand. Mrs. Miller, She patted the back of my hand reassuringly, her cloudy eyes welling up with tears. Mrs. Miller is apologizing to you on Ethan's behalf. It's all my fault. I didn't raise him right. If it hadn't been for his heart condition flaring up back then, you wouldn't have had to marry Jessica Harrison. It's all Mrs. Miller's fault for what's happened to you. The more she spoke, the heavier her breathing became. I gently wiped her tears, my voice soft. Mrs. Miller, everything I did willingly. It has nothing to do with you. Don't blame yourself. Besides, if you hadn't taken me in when I was a kid, I probably would have died a long time ago. Her tears flowed faster than I could wipe them. It's our Miller family that's burdened you. And now Ethan is treating you like this. I've truly failed you. Don't you worry. I spoke to old man Harrison. I told him to let you and Jessica divorce. From now on, Liam, dear, you need to be happy. You don't have to suffer like this anymore. Tears blur my vision. I managed a faint smile. It's not suffering at all. Being a Harrison son-in-law is great. I have fame, money, what's not to like? She looked at me for a long time, then turned her head away, unable to bear it. After a while, Mrs. Miller asked tentatively, Liam, dear, could you ask that ungrateful son of mine to come see me? I nodded repeatedly. Of course. But the calls I made to him went straight to voicemail again. I tried calling Jessica, but there was no answer from her either. Finally, I called Jessica's assistant. The assistant told me Ethan and Jessica had gone to Alaska to see the Northern Lights. The tears I'd been holding back finally fell. Mrs. Miller saw my tears and seemed to understand everything. She gave a small, weak laugh. Never mind then. Liam, dear, don't put yourself through any more trouble. You don't owe our family anything. With those words, she closed her eyes, a look of peace on her face. I cried until my heart felt like it would break. After Mrs. Miller's funeral, old man Harrison had them both dragged back. The Harrison estate. I stood off to one side. Jessica was kneeling on the floor. Ethan had been sent to Mrs. Miller's gravesite. Old man Harrison brought his cane down on Jessica's back, again and again. In the past, whenever he hit her, I'd jump in front of her, taking some of the blows myself. Now I stood by unmoved. Seeing my resolve not to help Jessica, the old man knew I was truly, deeply hurt. He beat Jessica until she was half-conscious, then said in a low, gravelly voice, Tomorrow, you two are getting a divorce. Jessica, slumped on the floor, looked up, a flicker of shock in her eyes. Then, she gritted her teeth. I don't agree. Why should he get to marry me when he wants, and divorce me when he wants? The old man struck her again with the cane. It's not up to you to agree. You've completely broken Liam's heart. Do you really think he'd ever come back to you now? I bowed to old man Harrison. Thank you, Grandpa. He sighed. Jessica is the one who wronged you. You can go. I dragged my already packed suitcase and walked out of the Harrison house. I left without a moment's hesitation. Jessica, despite her injuries, scrambled up and chased after me. She grabbed my wrist, her grip tight, her words hitting me like hammer blows. Liam Anderson, even if Grandpa forces me, I will not get a divorce. Her intensity stunned me. I just stared at her. Jessica's lips twisted into a semblance of a smile, but her voice was ice cold. It's you and me, Liam, till the bitter end. I pulled my hand free, looking up at her briefly. Jessica, have you forgotten why I married you in the first place? There's no reason for me to stay with the Harrisons anymore. I can finally end this broken marriage with you. She froze, her eyes gradually becoming vacant, like a puppet with its strings cut. Looking at her like that, I didn't understand. Isn't this what she always wanted? I agreed to the divorce. Shouldn't Jessica be happy? Suddenly, her eyes reddened. She bit out each word. Liam Anderson, you really never loved me. Didn't love her? If I truly didn't love her, why would I have run to stop her every time I knew there was another man in her life? If I didn't love her, why, after she casually mentioned that Mrs. Miller's classic grilled cheese and tomato soup tasted good, did I painstakingly learn how to make it and then eagerly prepare it for her? Or those times I went looking for her in those dive bars and sleazy clubs, my eyes red with frustration and worry? I never said the words, I love you, but I'd shown it in 1,000 different ways. She just never saw any of it. A familiar sting pricked my nose. I managed a faint smile. Yeah, Jessica, I don't love you. From now on, you go your way, and I'll go mine. Let's not see each other again. This time, I didn't stop. I disappeared completely from their world. When Ethan Miller found Jessica Harrison, she was sitting amidst the wreckage of her walk-in closet. She had trashed the room we had shared for 10 years. Jessica glanced up at him, then her gaze dropped again. Jessica, you finally got what you wanted. Now that you and Liam are divorced, Does that mean you can marry me? Ethan knelt opposite her, his eyes full of hopeful anticipation. If this had been before, Jessica might have had the patience to play along with him. But now, she couldn't be bothered. Her face was dark, her eyes fixed on Ethan. You're not even half the man Liam is. What makes you think you could ever marry into the Harrison family? Gonna play the family debt card again? Don't forget, the Harrisons and the Millers are even now. Besides, I was just using you to get a rise out of Liam. Why else would I look at you? If you weren't so damn important to him, I wouldn't have given you a second glance. Ethan, you didn't know, did you? The money for your heart surgery back then, the donor heart itself. Liam got all of that by marrying me. You ungrateful bastard. You make me sick just looking at you. Ethan, who had been chattering on, now fell silent, his mouth clamped shut. He suddenly remembered those dark days when his heart had failed him. Ethan, I'll make sure the doctors fix you. Ethan, you're going to live a long, long life. Ethan, no matter the cost, I'll get you the best heart. Liam, you're the best. Liam, we'll be best friends forever. Ethan's face turned deathly pale, the memory of that warm, quiet figure haunting him. All those promises he'd made, ultimately betrayed by his own actions. Jessica, where's Liam? Where did he go? Ethan grabbed Jessica's arm, his voice urgent, only to be met with her furious scream. How the hell should I know? If I knew, would I be holed up in here? He just walked out that day with his suitcase, all packed and ready to go. Jessica ran her hands through her hair in frustration. He just left. Didn't even give me a chance to try and stop him. Damn it, I can't find him. Am I really going to lose him? Her composure seemed to shatter completely, her voice trembling. Ethan had never seen Jessica like this. Another weekend arrived. She was escorted to the family estate by Old Man Harrison's men. Old Man Harrison glanced at the disheveled, despairing Jessica and frowned. You were the one playing with fire, and now you're the one screaming you're burned. How did I end up with such a messed up granddaughter? As he spoke, his cane landed sharply on her back again. This time, Mrs. Harrison, Jessica's mother, couldn't bear it any longer. She broke free from Mr. Harrison's restraining grip and pulled Jessica into her arms, shielding her. Old Man Harrison snorted. The way Jessica is now, this spoiled mess, it's all because you two indulged her. Jessica remained silent, showing no reaction at all. Not until Old Man Harrison's assistant handed him a document. Mr. Harrison, this is the divorce agreement signed by Mr. Anderson. Only then did Jessica flinch. A dull ache spread through her chest. For a moment, she felt like she couldn't breathe. When she took the divorce papers, she forgot to breathe altogether. The agreement was simple. Old Man Harrison had given me a settlement of $10 million. I won't get divorced. Jessica instantly tore the papers to shreds, her face grim, and said nothing more. Old Man Harrison scoffed. It's not up to you. I promised Mrs. Miller that I would never let Liam suffer another ounce of mistreatment. He scanned the faces of everyone present. Under his gaze, they all straightened their backs. Don't think I don't know how you all mistreated him when my back was turned. I know none of you were happy that I forced Jessica to marry him. But you asked this wretched girl, did I really force her back then? With her stubborn streak? You think I could actually force her to do anything? This whole mess. If I die, I won't be able to face Mrs. Miller. A palpable anger radiated from Old Man Harrison. For a moment, no one dared to speak. Grandma Harrison gently tried to soothe him. All right. Talking about it now won't change anything. Let them part amicably. Old Man Harrison pointed at Jessica. Look at her. Does she look like she's willing to part amicably with Liam? Grandma Harrison glanced at her, then asked quietly. Jessica, dear, you need to look forward. You've already failed Liam. Do you really want to stop him from finding his own happiness now? If you do that, he'll hate you for the rest of his life. Jessica gritted her teeth, arguing back. Let him hate me for the rest of his life then. It's better than him forgetting me completely. I told you it's him and me, till the bitter end. Old Man Harrison was furious. You. Jessica suddenly dropped to her knees before Old Man Harrison, her head bowed. Grandpa, please, just tell me where Liam is. If you won't tell me, could you at least please not stop me from finding him? Old Man Harrison glared at her, then snorted dismissively and fell silent. Ultimately, Jessica was his granddaughter. He couldn't bring himself to be completely ruthless. Jessica knew this meant he wouldn't hinder her anymore. A surge of energy returned to her. Without a word, she began her search. But no matter how hard Jessica searched for me, there was no news. She even offered a fortune as a reward. Online commenters had a field day, saying things like, played him for a fool, and now she's paying the price. Enjoy chasing him, sweetheart. Jessica now spent all her days at home. She found that my presence seemed to linger everywhere. It was only then that she realized I had become an inseparable part of her. The detail she had once overlooked became painfully clear. My love for her had been woven into countless small things. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. How could I have been so foolish not to see it until now? Liam, I was wrong. I understand your love now. Please come back. I miss you so much. Jessica drank herself into a stupor every night. When she woke, she'd hole up in our room, painstakingly trying to repair the things she had broken in her rage. People lash out and break things when they feel most helpless. Then, when they calm down, they try to fix what they've shattered. But they forget, broken things, even when mended, always show the scars. A heart's the same. You can piece it back together, but the cracks remain. You can't truly unbreak what's been shattered. For Mrs. Miller's memorial, about 3 months after she passed, I bought a beautiful bouquet of flowers and went to the cemetery to pay my respects. Mrs. Miller's new grave, weathered by wind and rain, was already showing a hint of moss on the headstone. A sudden thought struck me. No matter how many grievances exist between people, in the end, everyone returns to dust, becoming another grave. Some stand outside, some lie within. A constant cycle. Humanity's final destination is a return to nature. If that's the case, why obsess? Why cling to grudges? Love, hate, passion, enmity, let all be wiped clean. I stood there for a long time before a sound came from behind me. Liam, a man and a woman, spoke my name in unison. Jessica was faster, reaching my side in a few strides. Liam, I knew you'd be at the cemetery today. I glanced at her. Perhaps it was because I hadn't seen her in so long, but she was much thinner, her appearance haggard. Dark circles under her eyes were stark against her pale face, impossible to hide. Her eyes were slightly red, and her hand instinctively reached for mine. I stepped aside. Today is Mrs. Miller's memorial. Please show some respect. Okay, I'll listen to you. Jessica quickly withdrew her hand. Earlier that morning, Ethan Miller had pounded on her door. He'd told her, Jessica, today is my mom's memorial. Liam will definitely go to the cemetery to pay his respects. She had gripped his arm, her voice urgent. Really? Yes, it's Mrs. Miller's memorial. Liam will definitely be there. Muttering to herself, she had rushed back into her room. Watching the usually proud and arrogant Jessica Harrison in such an anxious state, Ethan had felt a pang of sorrow. Jessica, have you been in love with Liam Anderson all along? She had paused, then continued into her room as if she hadn't heard him. He let out a bitter laugh, his voice barely a whisper. I know. Liam is so good. Anyone who meets him would fall in love with him. Ethan watched her retreating back, a persistent ache in his heart. She and Ethan had spotted me from a distance near Mrs. Miller's grave. Liam, I was wrong. Can we not get divorced, please? I'll change. I swear, there will never be another man in my life besides you. I didn't know you loved me before, but I know now I looked at the woman I had once loved so sincerely, and my heart felt nothing, not even a ripple. Liam, Ethan had also come up, his pale face a mask of fawning apology and guilt. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have betrayed you over a woman. I shouldn't have hurt you out of jealousy. Liam, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. As he spoke, tears streamed down his face like broken pearls, his expression pitiful and helpless. Before, I couldn't bear to see him cry, because Mrs. Miller had said that whenever he cried like that, it was because the pain in his chest was unbearable. As a little kid, seeing him suffer always made my heart ache for him. I had secretly vowed to protect him, to shield him from any harm. But later, he became the one who made me cry all night. Liam, Jessica has loved you all along. Every day since you left, she hasn't stopped thinking about you. She's fixed everything she broke in your old room. Liam, just make a life with her. Don't get divorced. Ethan kept his eyes downcast, a slight tremor in his voice. I looked at them both for a long moment, then sighed silently. I've moved on. I'm not looking back. After this, let's not see each other again. They were once the most important people in my life, yet they became the ones who hurt me the most. Even though I kept telling myself to let go, seeing them filled my chest with a familiar resentment. I didn't want this relationship to haunt me for the rest of my life. I still had many decades ahead of me, many possibilities. Liam, no, just tell me what to change, and I'll change everything. Don't give up on us so easily. Jessica grabbed my hand, her grip incredibly strong, as if terrified I would vanish the next second. A broken mirror can't be made whole again. Even if you piece it back together, the cracks will always be there. Jessica, we can't go back. Liam, are you absolutely sure? Ethan frowned, looking at me. I nodded firmly, twice. He knew that once I made up my mind, no one could change it. Jessica's grip on my hand suddenly loosened, her eyes wide with a visible panic. Jessica, I wasted 10 years on you. I don't want to waste any more. 10 years ago, our paths shouldn't have crossed. Let's just return everything to how it was before. She stared at me, her eyes filled with what looked like defiance, or perhaps despair. Liam Anderson, the reason you didn't want a divorce before was because the Harrisons could pay for Ethan's heart treatment, right? You stayed by my side all this time just to use my family's power and money to help him, didn't you? And what about me? What was I to you for these 10 years? Do you have any idea how much I hated you? Hated how you never cared about my feelings. For 10 years, I kept throwing other men in your face, testing you. But what did you do? Every time you saw me with another man, you acted like nothing was wrong. Never got angry, never showed a hint of jealousy. 10 years. Your heart was like ice. You were like a robot. Every look, every touch, it all just reminded me that you didn't love me at all. And I was the fool who kept falling for your occasional kindness. So I went for Ethan. I wanted to see if he would finally get a reaction out of you. My heart felt cold, devoid of any warmth. Actually, Jessica wasn't wrong. If it hadn't been for Ethan, I might never have found the resolve to leave her. A bitter laugh escaped me. Jessica, you're being completely unreasonable. She heard me laugh, and her expression shifted, her gaze complex as she looked at me. All these years, it feels like we've never really talked, not once. Let's just talk calmly, I said, a wistful smile on my face. Jessica fell silent, not denying it. I turned my head to look at Ethan. Today is Mrs. Miller's memorial. You should pay your respects to her. After saying that, I didn't look at him again. Jessica and I walked a little further away. Facing the spring breeze, I took a deep breath. Slowly, I began. Jessica, when I married you, at first it was for family. But later, it was because of love. Jessica froze, stopping in her tracks. Her reaction was strong, but it was clear she didn't believe me. I turned, a small smile on my lips, and looked at her. Have you forgotten? The year we got married, you were the one who told me not to love you. You said loving you would only end badly, and that you'd never love a lowlife like me. She'd said it, and I'd fallen silent. Falling in love with her back then was so easy. Letting go of her afterwards, so incredibly hard. I was just. Jessica tried to explain, but her voice failed her. I know, we were young and foolish. I paused, but I took it to heart. Back then, the way she liked me was like a little kid pulling pigtails, all teasing and torment. She'd either be loud at parties to get my attention or pull childish pranks like swapping my water for straight vodka. It was my first time liking someone too. How was I supposed to know that was her way of showing affection? I shook my head, a helpless smile on my face. For 10 years, my love for you has been a process of subtraction. Truthfully, even without Ethan, I probably would have left one day anyway. Jessica, nobody waits around forever for someone. The color drained from her lips. Her throat was dry. She couldn't form a complete sentence. You know what you've done over the years. It cut too deep. I can't just forget it. 10 years of her childish tests, her tormenting behavior, her painful jabs. It was enough to break my heart completely. I, too, had cried until my eyes were swollen, picked up the shattered pieces of my heart time and time again, until finally, covered in scars, I learned to let go. Just as I finished speaking, Ethan, his eyes red, came up behind us. Liam, if you can't forgive her, does that mean you won't forgive me either? His eyes were filled with guilt. Liam, I know everything now. You married Jessica back then because of me. You saved me, gave me a second chance at life. Thank you. My mom was right. You don't owe our family anything. We're the ones who've always been indebted to you. If it wasn't for you, my mom probably would have died with regrets. I messed up. I'll spend my life atoning for it. Can you forgive me? There was a time when just the sound of his choked voice, tears welling before they even fell, would have made me agree to anything. But now, listening to his cries, I felt nothing. If anything, a trace of irritation. Ethan, I might forgive anyone else in this lifetime, but I can't forgive you. I didn't linger with them any longer and strode out of the cemetery. I heard that Ethan knelt before Mrs. Miller's headstone day and night, seeking atonement. Jessica continued her relentless search for me. A year later, Old Man Harrison's assistant delivered the finalized divorce papers, already signed by her. Our sham of a marriage was finally, completely over. I left that city and stepped through the door to explore a new world. I was surprised when Ethan Miller's lawyer contacted me. He said Ethan was dead. His heart condition had relapsed. He'd refused treatment, hoping to atone and earn my forgiveness that way. He had also willed his entire estate to me. I refused it, but I had to go back once. I bought 2 bouquets of flowers, one for him, one for Mrs. Miller. After I returned, I had a dream. Ethan was in it. We just looked at each other without saying a word. That day on the yacht, the 2 people who mattered most to me shattered my world. That year, I lost 3 important people all at once. Thankfully, I endured those unbearable times. Now I was finally seeing my own dawn.